Hello everyone and good day. My name is Janian Jules Z. Cabrera. Together with my group member, Mr. Griseldo A. Onde, we are BS Ed Science 4 students and we are tasked to report about the topic in Science, Technology, and Society about acceptable response to a terrorist incident, specifically its treatment and notification. So that will be the scope of our topic for today's video. So in the previous reports, in the previous topics, we have discussed regarding the weapons of mass destructions. So we have the bioweapon, chemical weapons, explosive weapons, incendiary weapons, and etc. And these weapons of mass destructions, if used by a terrorist, can have different harmful effects to the human body. So in this topic, we will talk about what to do in an event of terrorist attack if ever they'll be using these weapons and how we can treat and we can notify the appropriate authorities regarding the incident. Okay, so let's start with the treatment. So the treatment process. So in the event of a terrorist attack, we should treat the wounded, and there are specific key points that we should take into consideration whenever treating the casualties during a terrorist incident. So there are key takeaways, and the first one is the treatment process. In the medical intervention, the way we give medical assistance to the casualties of the terrorist attack. So we have here the first one, sort out the patients and set priorities for removal. So for example, we have here in the picture, this is a collapsed building, maybe due to an event of a explosive device or any explosive threats or the event of explosion. So there are multiple casualties in here. So in providing medical intervention, first we should sort out the patients and set priorities for removal. So in short terms, we should, for example, we have here in our picture that first we should give priority to those people who were under the rubbles of the collapsed building. We should give them priorities for removal to give medical intervention because they are the ones that are mostly at higher risk compared to the other people or the other casualties in the site. So that's the first one, sort out the patients and set priorities for removal. And the second one, in the event of, for example, a chemical weapon is used or a biological weapon, a biomass of destruction, then physical contact should be avoided for contaminated patients. Instead, direct contaminated able victims to help the ones in need. So this specifies to not being in contact with those casualties that have been contaminated with the weapon or the weapon that was used on the site, for example, the bio or chemical weapons, so that could contaminate the human body and could be contagious if touched by one human towards another. So in the event of this one, physical contact should be avoided for contaminated patients. So instead, we'll be telling those contaminated patients but able ones to help those who are in need in the event of that scenario. But as you can see here, we have in our picture that the person that needs medical intervention is being held on by professionals who are having the appropriate PPE to be protected from the contamination, and they are decontaminizing the patient. So that's also one way to address the problem, to provide medical assistance, treatment to those casualties in the event of such weapons being used in a terrorist incident. And another key takeaways in providing treatment is we allot alternate treatment space. So the purpose of this one is to avoid congestion of people because during a terrorist incident, it is expected. We're not wishing to do so, but this is a forecast. So just disaster risk reduction management, forecasting that possible there will be lots of people. So we'll be allotting alternate treatment space to reduce congestions in hospitals and other medical treatment facilities. So for example, we have here in our pictures, there are tents, medical hospital tents. So these are mobile hospitals or medical mobile clinics installed in a different site. So this is to avoid congestion. And also in this event, we should also assign people, because people will be rushing into the site to ask for medical treatment. So there should also be a division of labor. So people should also be assigned specific tasks. For example, one person will be the one who will cater those who are incoming patients, and the other will be treating to the wounded. So that's what we should be doing in providing the treatment of the casualties. So we also have the diagnostic studies. So this refers to quick diagnosis for faster treatment. For example, we have a bioweapon that is used in a terror incident. Then diagnosis of what the weapon is about, how it can be cured, it's crucial to factor in providing medical intervention as soon as possible. So the sooner we diagnose what's the problem, what's the health condition, what's the health status of the patient, of the casualty being incurred during the event, then it would be crucial. Time will be crucial in here in the quick diagnosis for faster treatment status of the patient, of the casualties. So this to lesser the casualties. We should provide treatment as soon as possible. And diagnosing, that means that we should know the problem first before we can treat them. So that's crucial. Time is crucial in there. And after we diagnose what's the problem, then we can proceed to the pharmaceuticals. So this refers to the medical drugs that will be administered to be given to those casualties, to those patients. So for example, if the diagnosis refers to a bioweapon, which is a virus, then a proper pharmaceutical or a proper medication will be administered to the patient in order to treat them from the harm that was caused to them by the terror incident. So these pharmaceuticals, we should ensure that appropriate medication is given as soon as possible to treat the wounded, the casualties in the event. And one of the most important part in here, especially in the event of utilizing chemical or bioweapon, then isolation and infection control is crucial in order to isolate the contamination. For example, let's just say the COVID-19, that is a virus and that is contagious. So in order to stop its spread, we should wear PPEs and designating isolation centers. So we isolate those victims, those casualties, in order to prevent them from spreading the contaminants to the rest of the population not affected by the terror incident. So as you can see here in the picture, we have isolation centers, and these are, so just like on what we have during the pandemic, we have quarantine centers. That's what we call here in the Philippines. And they are used to isolate the casualties, the victims, in order to avoid the spreading of the contaminants or the disease that was given to them because of the terror incident. And wearing of proper PPE such as the gloves, the face mask, the face shield, the mask, and etc. The appropriate equipment so that we ourselves will be protected regarding and against those contaminants brought about by the terror incident. So that will be for the treatment part. And as we move on, let's listen to Mr. Luceldo Onde for his part of notification on how should be notifying the appropriate authorities in the event of a terror incident.
Okay, so hello guys, I am the next reporter. I am Griseldo A. Onde, so I'll be tackling about notification. Okay, so let's start. If a building suspects that an event has occurred, notification of the right agencies ought to occur. Native infection management personnel, hospital administration, native and state health departments, the Department of Health, and also the Centers of Malady Management and Bar Agency and medical emergency services ought to be alerted. So if there's an incident that caused by the terrorist, for example, if there's na samdan sa inyong example sa inyong lungsod, so you need to call in an emergency services. So they are responsible for helping people. Okay, so next. Okay, who are responsible for notifying terrorist incidents? So kinsa man kuno ang mga responsable sa pag-notify sa mga terrorist incidents? So we have Philippine National Police, PNP, SUCO, Alternative Enforcement Agencies. So we will tackle them one by one. The first one is the Philippine National Police, or the PNP. So if there's an incident caused by the terrorist in your, for example, sa lungsod, kinsa man imong tawagan, so ang PNP, because they are responsible for investigating crimes. So sila ang mo investigate ato nga krimen nga buhat sa mga terrorist. And they are also responsible for arresting those suspects. And this police, sila pud ang mag-maintain sa peace and order nga walay mga terrorist nga makasulod sa, for example, sa lungsod or sa atong sa Pilipinas. Okay, they also prevent and control crimes. So sila pud ang mag-prevent sa mga terrorist nga makasulod sa ato ang, for example, sa lungsod. That's why naay gibuhat nga kanang pag-checkpoint. Kay maybe naay nakasulod nga mga terrorists or criminals. The last one is to ensure public safety and internal security. So that is why, for example, diri sa Isabela Leyte, inig ka alas 10 na ay buhaton ang mga pulis nga robing sa lungsod. Kaya basig na sila makita nga suspicious nga tao or maybe they are terrorists. Okay, so next. Scenes of crime officer. So for example, kung naay mahitabo nga krimen gihapon, so kinsa may caused by the terrorist, so kinsa may responsible nga tawagan pud ngani. So we have SOCO. They work alongside police officers to help solve the crime. So together with the police, and SOCO, they solve the crimes. They are expert trained to take photographs of evidence and identify traces left at a crime scenes. So sila ang mukuha sa mga evidence nga gibuhat sa mga terrorist. For example, gibombahan ang usa ka city. So together with PNP and SOCO, they conjointly help one another to find evidence. Okay, next. We have alternative enforcement agencies. So the first one is the National Bureau of Investigation. So it undertakes efficient detection and investigation of crimes and other offenses against the law of the Philippines. For example, naay mga terrorist sa inyo sa city nga nagbuhat og illegal nga mga buhaton. So if you know those person nga nagbuhat og mga illegal nga buhaton, you can call the NBI. Or namoy nakita ng mga terrorist nga unfamiliar sa inyong mata nga feeling nyo bagos yung mata, and then that is suspicious, you can call the NBI. Or og naay mga tao nga ni buhat against the law, or makita mo sa mga terrorist nga nilabag na sa law, you can call the NBI because they are the one who's responsible for investigating the crime. Okay, next. We have Bureau of Customs. Services and controls the entrance and clearance of vessels and aircrafts engaged in foreign commerce. So I think napo ni siya mahitabo nga some terrorist kay mo enter sa, for example, diri sa Philippines, coming from the other country, mo enter sila sa Philippines without kanang naay sakto bitaw nga papel nga ipakapakita. For example, kanina yung mga tawhana or kini nga mga terrorist kay ang sulod diri sa ilang barko kay naay mga illegal drugs. So kini si Bureau of Customs, mo ni siya ang mo-check, mo supervises and controls the entrance and clearance of vessels. For example, sa mga barko, sila ang mo-check sa mga gamit if naay mga illegal nga mga butang. And also pud sa himpapawid, sila pud ang mo-check if naay mga terrorist nga nag-attempt og sulod sa Pilipinas, for example. Okay, next. We have Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. So it is common no sa mga terorista nga magdala jud og drugs, illegal drugs. So kinsa man ang responsable nga tawagan natin yung mga illegal drugs? So we have the PDEA or Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. They are responsible for the efficient law enforcement of all provision on any dangerous drugs and precursors and essential chemicals. So kung kini yung mga terorista, mga terrorist, kay nagpakalat og mga drugs, for example, sa atong country, so kinsa man ang mas responsable nga mo investigate an nila, so di PDEA. Okay, next. Okay, here. The native field workplace of the Philippine National Police, SOCO, and alternative native enforcement agencies conjointly ought to be notified. So mao ni sila ganiha akong giingon nga kung naay mga terrorist nga maka-harm sa atong society, so kinsa man ang responsable nga atong pahibawon or atong tawagan. So we have Philippine National Police, SOCO, and alternative native enforcement agencies. So they secure the crime scene to guard proof, and also the terrorist ought to be known and caught. So sila ang mudakop ani nilang mga terrorist. The employment or vulnerable use of WMD may be a criminal act. So what are some example of this WMD? So the nuclear bomb. Okay, next. In the US, the CA Department of Health Services has experience recognizing and treating anthrax, botulism, mycotoxins, plague fever, smallpox, and rabbit fever. The DHS, or the US Department of Home Security, conjointly has access to some antitoxins and a specialist in aerosol physics. So, kini si Department of Home Security, so sila ang may mga access sa antitoxins, or sila ang mo nainhibawan to prevent those toxins, chemicals. Okay, next. In the US, the FBI might want to gather consumer goods and potential proof from patients. Besides, enforcement agencies will do a threat assessment and confirm the threat's quality by ascertaining if the individual or cluster concerned has the motive and a lot of significant the flexibility to commit the crimes. Okay, so this ends my discussion. I hope you learned something. Okay, so kinsa ganito ang responsible nga atong tawagan kung naay mga terrorist nga mga terrorists nga naa sa atong society. So we have PNP, SOCO, and the other one is the Alternative Enforcement Agency. So thank you so much for listening. That's all, and thank you.